Fox News Radio. Now, these deaths and disappearances include several high-level astrophysicists, as well as research scientists, college professors, military leaders, and administrative assistants, and many on this list having top security clearance and a vast knowledge of America's top secrets. Now, the most recent official to disappear, retired Air Force General William McCasland, was last seen leaving his New Mexico home in February without his phone or prescription glasses. His disappearance came after aerospace engineer Monica Reza went missing in June while hiking in the Angeles National Forest in California. McCasland and Reza had been working together on a government-funded rocket materials project, which McCasland was overseeing. Our Peter Ducey asked White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about the suspicious pattern. Watch.
There are now 10 American scientists who have either gone missing or died since mid-2024. They all reportedly had access to classified nuclear or aerospace material. Is anybody investigating this to see if these things are connected?
Yo, what's up? You know who it is, your boy Westside Gregory up in here, hosting another episode of Raw Radio 513, baby. You know how we do it. We get raw and we keep it uncut, 100% pure served to you. You know what it is. Hey, but today is like, this is one of the creepiest news coverages that I have ever done and that I have ever saw, but I've been speaking on it for a minute. But a lot of y'all might not have been paying my YouTube channel no attention, but I advise you to go back and go look at some of the things that I've been, some of the podcasts or whatever you want to, broadcasts that I've been making, whatever you want to call it. Go back and take a look at these things, y'all. I've been telling a lot of people for the longest about everything that's going on, such as the war and everything else. But hey, yo, cut it. That's not why we're here right now. We're here to talk about 10 scientists, 10 so far that's been missing. Like, these people are just vanishing. And these is not regular people. These are people with top secret secrets, like, of the world. UFOs, college professors, military leaders, and administratives. This is how deep this is getting. So let me just go ahead and get y'all caught up on everything so we can get into this video that I'm gonna leave at the end. And make sure y'all watch it, and don't forget to leave what state and city down in the comments that y'all watching from. Okay, look, these are scientists, war people, like people who got knowledge on war material, and like people who know about the UFOs, and they are coming up missing in different states. Now I could see, like, if it was the same state, but this is different states, y'all. Like over here, somebody coming up, one lady went jogging and she came up missing. Okay, another man, his medication and glasses was left at home. And this have yet to be investigated. This been going on since 2010 and have yet to be investigated. Listen, the FBI should have been the first people who should have been on this case. Now, this is serious. Think about it, y'all. 10 scientists that have connections with one thing, and that's a nuclear war material. And they're all coming up missing, and they're from different states. If that don't raise a question mark, boom, I don't know what do. This is, like I said, one of the most scariest news clips ever. So of course I had to go back and make a beat for this. Well, a horror beat for this background. But I just want to say this, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Raw Radio 513. And for those who subscribe, y'all make it happen. For those who leave comments, y'all make it happen too. I see that a lot of people is watching from the views, but not everybody is hitting that subscribe button. So if you could be kind, press the subscribe button, like and share. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for any cash or anything like that. Just like, share, comment, subscribe. And guess what? You rule. And every person that's on this channel and every person that's watching me right now, you're watching for a reason. You're watching because you're smart, you're educated, and you know what's going on in today's society. That's why you're here right now, tuning in to Raw Radio 513. Now let's get into the scariest news clip that I've ever seen in my life. Westside Gregory checking out Raw Radio 513, baby. Y'all got it. What? Come on, go to the clip. Let's go.
The White House says it is looking into the mysterious string of disappearances and deaths of at least 10 high-profile American scientists. Now, many of them tasked with studying UFOs or nuclear research. All of them have either died or mysteriously vanished, dating back to mid-2023. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno here with my co-hosts, Kaylee McEnany and Harris Faulkner. And also joining us today, Kennedy, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, and Guy Benson, Fox News political analyst and host of The Guy Benson Show on Fox News Radio. Now, these deaths and disappearances include several high-level astrophysicists, as well as research scientists, college professors, military leaders, and administrative assistants, and many on this list having top security clearance and a vast knowledge of America's top secrets. Now, the most recent official to disappear, retired Air Force General William McCasland, was last seen leaving his New Mexico home in February without his phone or prescription glasses. His disappearance came after aerospace engineer Monica Reza went missing in June while hiking in the Angeles National Forest in California. McCasland and Reza had been working together on a government-funded rocket materials project, which McCasland was overseeing. Our Peter Ducey asked White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about the suspicious pattern. Watch.
There are now 10 American scientists who have either gone missing or died since mid-2024. They all reportedly had access to classified nuclear or aerospace material. Is anybody investigating this to see if these things are connected?
I've seen the report, Peter. I haven't spoken to our relevant agencies about it. I will certainly do that and we'll get you an answer. If true, of course, that's definitely something I think this government and administration would deem worth looking into. So let me do that for you.
All right, Guy Benson, a lot of alarm bells ringing, certainly, and especially the concentration on shared projects as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is mysterious. It is concerning. You think about, like, police detective procedurals on TV where the grizzled detective says, I don't believe in coincidences. And this is a lot, right? These are a lot of different names. Who knows if these are connected in any way? Like, one of the names up there was an MIT professor who was killed during that Brown University shooting scenario, which was very bizarre, which, to my knowledge, has no connection to some sort of wider sinister plot. But I think we definitely need answers on this. I would hope that our relevant agencies, intelligence, Homeland Security, FBI, et cetera, are well aware of this, because if there is something sinister going on and this is connected to some sort of potential foreign plot, not to get way out over our skis, our government needs to know about that and protect others who might conceivably be at risk if there's something afoot.
Well, right, because Harris, to that point, you know, in law enforcement investigations, the whole point is to rule out. So you start sort of with everything and rule out. So at this point, any type of foreign espionage or all that kind of stuff, it hasn't been ruled out as they seek a pattern.
So I'm just curious about how hard it is to work a case like this when you have deaths in different states and you've got, you know, mysterious situations you know, across the country in different areas with people. I'm looking here at MIT, NASA JPL engineer Frank Mawald, I think is how you say his name. That was 2024. These people are all over the place. So how do you do a top-down investigation and take a look at what the nexus of things that they have in common? That's difficult. So I think there are enough people missing or who've been murdered in mysterious ways or died in mysterious ways, or maybe we know how they died, but we don't know why. There are enough of them on the screen right now to begin some sort of a task force to pull this together to figure out what we're really looking at now.
And definitely Americans would be on board with that. That is exactly how our tax dollars should be stewarded.
Yeah.
I note, too, that perhaps in that way of research, you know, I don't know enough about the research to articulate it specifically, but to see perhaps, is it popping up in other countries? Has there been a development amongst our enemies in the fields of research that these now deceased or missing scientists were working on?
Yeah, and if they were missing, were they abducted by a nefarious actor who has them and is using them against their will in order to ascertain what level of expertise they might have that might help them? But I think Harris is absolutely right. And what this reminds me of is when you have victims in different areas who seem to die in different ways or, you know, mysteriously go missing, and then you realize you have a serial killer. But, you know, it takes a while to connect those dots, and you need a task force. You need a wider and more focused net in order to figure out, you know, and it's harder when it's classified information, because in order to figure out if they were studying the exact same things, you know, if they were working together, it's much harder to have the experts who also have that sort of clearance to be able to figure out, you know, what the patterns are and what they were working on, if they knew each other, if they were working together, and what was it specifically about their field of study that would make them an attractive target for either, you know, a terrorist organization or a rogue nation who wants that sort of information. Although General McCaslin's wife was very clear to point out on Facebook that he had no information about UFOs and to stop badgering her about that.
Poor thing. 10 is, frankly, an astronomical number.
Yeah, it's a big number.
And Kaylee, I wanted to come to you on sort of the process. As we showed Peter Doocy asking Caroline Leavitt questions, as former press secretary, you know, what is the process of sort of digging into something like this when it's brought to the White House's attention, and the relationships with the agencies and the DOJ and the like? What might that look like?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, a great point, and that's exactly where my head was at. You know, she probably wasn't expecting that question, but impressive that it was on her radar because it was a headline among many. In fact, our headline on this goes back to April. It's really interesting. There could be any number of reasons that someone would want to take one of these individuals. It could be specialized geopolitical knowledge, something like forced labor. It could be a state secret that someone's trying to get, or it could be nothing at all. It could be total and complete coincidence. But there is, in fact, a history of this kind of criminal activity. And you can go back to World War II and look at some of the stories. They're very interesting. But for Caroline, you know, she did the right thing. She said, I'll go ask agencies. But with something like this, it's so sensitive. I imagine Kash Patel at the FBI is looking at each incident, looking to see if there's any connections between them. But this is something that she is going to have to repeatedly say, I will defer you to the FBI. It's a criminal situation, but it's one that she would dig into. I imagine she'd start at DOJ, she'd go to Kash Patel, and then go from there.
You know, one thing that was a red flag to me, because it was not on my radar, frankly, until I got the info this morning. I saw the question that Peter asked. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I assumed maybe this is going to be older people who did a lot of research for a long time, and maybe they're in their twilight years at the end of their lives. Then I looked at the list of names and the ages, 40s, 50s, 60s. That's also a little weird here, isn't it? There are a lot of young people.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right, guys, well, we will certainly continue to follow this incredible